Hi, Algebra 2. Okay, so to help you with what's due today, this is worksheet number 1. We're going to do a couple of example problems. So for number 2, so when you're finding positive and negative coterminals, when you're given degrees, you have to subtract by 360 to get the negative, and then add by 360 to get the positive. So for number 2, you're given 0 degrees. So 0 minus 360 gives you negative 360 degrees. So that would be the negative. When you're given 0 degrees and you add 360, you get positive 360. So, so for the negative, we have negative 360, and the positive, we have positive 360, because we started with 0 degrees, okay? When you're given radians, you need to subtract and add by 2 pi. So 2 pi over 3 is what you're given, and we're going to first subtract by 2 pi. So in order to do this, we need our denominators to be the same. So in order for my denominator to be 3, I have to multiply the bottom by 3, which means I have to multiply the top by 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. So now I have 2 pi over 3 minus 6 pi over 3, which will give you negative 4 pi over 3, okay? When you add 2 pi over 3 plus 2 pi, make your denominator the same, so we multiply the bottom by 3 to multiply the top by 3, so that'll become 6. This will then become 2 pi over 3 plus 6 pi over 3 is 8 pi over 3. Okay, so just to reiterate, when you're given degrees, you need to subtract and add by 360. When you're given radians, you need to subtract and add by 2 pi. But make sure you have your denominators the same, okay? Moving on to complementary and supplementary. When you're given radians, you have to add by x and set it equal to pi over 2, okay? For the complementary. For supplementary, you have to add by x and set it equal to pi for supplementary, okay? So when you do this, let's first make our denominator the same. So our denominator right here is 2. So to get it to be 12, we have to multiply the bottom by 6. So that would be 12, and then 6 would be up there. Now, just get x alone. So we subtract by 11 pi over 12, that cancels. Subtract by 11 pi over 12. X equals 6 minus 11 is negative 5 pi over 12, okay? For supplementary, we have it equal to pi, okay? So let's get our denominators the same. We multiply the bottom by 12, so we multiply the top by 12. Now let's get x alone, so we have to subtract inverse operations. That cancels. Minus 11 pi over 12. 12 pi minus 11 pi is 1 pi over 12. So that would be supplementary, and this would be complementary, okay? When you're given degrees, you have to set it, add x and set it equal to 90 for complementary, and then add x and set it equal to 180 for supplementary. So I'm just going to subtract by 120, and I will get x equals negative 30. Okay? For here, get x alone, subtract by 120. X equals 60 degrees. Okay? So to reiterate for complementary and supplementary, when you're given radians, complementary, you set it equal to pi over 2. When you're given radians and you're finding supplementary, you set it equal to pi. Okay? When you're given degrees, you set it equal to 90 for complementary and set it equal to 180 for supplementary. Okay? Those example problems were number 2, 9, 14, and 17 from worksheet number 1. Okay? If you have any additional questions, just be sure to reach out. Okay? Bye, guys.